into it. We'll do that.
Welcome inside Crisler Center. It's warm inside and warm outside this week. Matthew Levy alongside Peter Nasr for the first half. And Peter, these are two teams we will be seeing today, Michigan and Nebraska, both fighting for a tournament spot here in the women's NCAA tournament. The latest projection had Michigan last four in, according to ESPN, and Nebraska as the 10th seed. This is, bottom line, a lot of stakes for this conference match.
Yeah, you mentioned it. Michigan was on the outside before their big win against Penn State over the weekend. They're hovering right around the edge of the bubble. Every game at this point for the Wolverines is must win at this point. You're facing a Nebraska Cornhuskers team that you put up a season-low scoring total against when you faced them early in the year in Lincoln. So for Michigan, they got to come out firing. They know what's at stake. Every game at this point, if every game needs to feel like March is on the line, because it is at this point in the season. So for both sides, you mentioned for Nebraska as well, they're in the 7th seed. They're comfortable right now, but a couple of losses, especially after their last performance. They lost a tough one against the bottom feeders of the Big Ten and Rutgers, giving them their first win in the Big Ten, losing in overtime by 1. So both teams have something to prove here tonight. This should be a really exciting game. A lot of great athletes on both sides. Really excited for this one. It should be a great matchup.
I mean, you just stole some of my questions, but I'll move right in. Rutgers, right? Nebraska against Rutgers. Nebraska was this big favorite at home, and they lose, right, to a 7-17 Rutgers team that frankly hasn't really competed in the Big Ten all year. Now they're back. They go on the road. It feels like this could be a pivotal game for Nebraska because they can't fall, 2 in a row against probably two teams that they think they're better than.
Yeah, exactly right. At this point in the season, you cannot afford to have a bad stretch of games. Nebraska has to put the game over the weekend behind them, focus in on Michigan, play the game how they played it in Lincoln when they really dominated that game against Michigan. You're looking at Alexis Markowski, who has dominated all season. She scored double figures in every game this year for the Cornhuskers, even though she was only held to 10 in the game against Michigan, her season low. So Michigan definitely wants to do that again. But for Nebraska, if they can get those perimeter players going, Kendall Moriarty getting her her 5th start of the season. She had a career-high 11 points against Michigan in Nebraska. So head coach Amy Williams is riding with the hot hand here today for Nebraska going up against Michigan. And this is a huge game, like you mentioned, for Nebraska. I expect both teams to put their all in because they both know what's on line.
And this is a rare game where Michigan, on the stat sheet, they've struggled offensively at points. They struggled at Nebraska, only scoring 43 points. But on the paper, right, they are a better field goal percentage team, a better free throw percentage team, and a better three-point percentage team. That could play a factor here at home when they shoot much better.
Yeah, exactly. I think that I would not expect them to put up the lowly numbers they did against Nebraska early in the year. In front of the home crowd, you're comfortable here. But I think Michigan needs to start out really with a good start. We saw they struggled a little bit against Penn State early in the game, and they utilized a bigger run later in the third quarter and the fourth quarter to pull away against Penn State. So I think if you're Michigan, you want to start fast here. Get Layla Felia going. Get Kyra Evans, who's been really good recently for the Wolverines and who's starting at the center position for Michigan, the smaller lineup for the Wolverines. Start fast, and I think you'll have a good chance to really come away with a big-time win as we move towards the end of Big Ten play and into March Madness.
Michigan, Nebraska, we were just about set for tip. Matthew Levy, Peter Nasr. I wanted to turn to this. Michigan, I know they held Markowski, they're what Nebraska's probably best player to 10 points. Mm-hmm. But on the floor right now, they've gone back and forth around really the weakness of this Michigan team has been inside, right? Mm-hmm. Are you starting Taylor Williams, Cameron Williams? Tonight it'll be Kyra Evans. How does Michigan defend a stud like Markowski? I
think you might have to consider doubling her and really focusing on helping on finding the open person when you bring in the double. Make her life difficult. She's going to get 10 points against you. That's almost assume that she's going to get her points in. So if you could limit everyone else, make their lives difficult, and just make her have to earn her 10 points, earn her double-digit scoring, you'll put yourself in a good position to come away with a big win.
Evans and Markowski will have the tip. It's Michigan and Nebraska. Both have identical records in the Big Ten Conference, 6-5 apiece. Michigan is 15-8 overall, Nebraska 14-8. Here we go. Michigan, Nebraska, and we're off. Rebound or tip off to the Wolverines, and let's get this thing going. Michigan, Nebraska. As Lauren Hansen will start with it, gets it back up top. Litfilia, Kyra Evans, give and go to Hobbs for 2. Nice play right there by Kyra Evans.
Beautiful play by Evans that pass. Great cut by Hobbs, and Michigan with a great start early.
Here's Markowski on the right block, making a fadeaway jumper to tie the game at 2.
Yeah, that's a tough look. Nice fadeaway on Evans. She's going to have that look if Michigan does not put pressure on her.
Hanson, Brett, Filia, top of the key, gets the screen from Evans. She's immediately hedged. Hedged the screen was Nebraska. Now on the right side is Hanson. Hanson going right to the cup. Hanson, scoop layup, doesn't go. Rebound, Kyra Evans. 7 on the shot clock, kicks it out. Hanson, right corner, 3. No. Fiery start from both sides. I mean, really good looks. Nebraska will control. At the top was Shelley, Jazz Shelley. Probably the second leading scorer for Nebraska. A no-look pass in the corner for 3 was Hake, and that one misses, and Michigan forces it out of bounds. It'll go to Michigan.
Yeah, both teams have given up an early open 3. Neither team has been able to capitalize, but both teams struggling to find offensive rebound for Michigan, and then Nebraska the other way.
Evans to Feely on the right side. Swings it back across. Here's the move. Hobbs driving baseline, and she is fouled on the left side. 20 on the shot clock due to the foul. And Michigan, we've watched a bunch of games with the Wolverines. They are moving the ball right now. I mean, swinging it side to side. They feel like they have a plan.
Yeah, I really agree. They're moving it quickly. They're driving inside a lot. They're being aggressive early.
Intensity high as that ball looked to be off Michigan, but it will stay with the Wolverines on the deflection off the out-of-bounds play. Hobbs will inbound. 18 out now on the shot clock. Filia, top of the key, Brett. Brett feeds it inside to Kyra Evans. She lost it for a second, now has to dribble it back out. Looking inside, Filia with the cut. Filia with the spin inside, front rim doesn't go. And a rebound trying to control it was Nebraska, but it goes off the fingertips of Potts, and it will stay with the Wolverines.
Yeah, Michigan's been getting some looks when they're cutting into the paint. Filia there had a good look, just couldn't get it to fall. And Nebraska a little sloppy on the rebound, couldn't control it, and gives Michigan another chance.
Hobbs, quick inbound, give and go. Hobbs, corner 3 from the right side, doesn't go. And a rebound to the Cornhuskers. Markowski across to Hake. Hake waiting, looking for someone to become available. Here's Moriarty. Moriarty trying to find someone. Hanson almost got in that passing lane back to the top of the key. Much better defense from the Wolverines. Here's the give and go. Step back, Shelley, 3, missed all of it, but a rebound to Potts, but it didn't hit the rim, so it'll be a shot clock violation.
That was a great defensive possession by the Wolverines. They were switching everything. They made Nebraska stay outside in the perimeter and forced Shelley to take a tough 3-pointer that she missed everything on.
Hanson inside to Evans. Evans in the post. Good denial from Markowski. Swings it back across the right. Hanson, Evans, top of the free throw line. Brett on the screen. Give and go to Evans for 2. Missed the layup.
Michigan's getting some looks on that pick and roll. Just they're not hitting their layups. They got to get those baskets to fall.
Nebraska moving it. Here's Hake. Open look from 3. Does not go. Rebound Evans. One of the things Michigan struggled, against Penn State was those rebounds. I'm curious to see how they do it against Nebraska as the take from Hobbs goes as Michigan takes a 4-2 lead early.
They're pushing the pace, Michigan was, and Nebraska looking to answer.
Moriarty, good D from Brett. Always brings the tenacity on defense. Here's the take inside, and Filia gets the steal. Layla Filia, scoreless early. The leading scorer for the Wolverines, kicks it out. Brett, a 3. Missed all of it. Too strong. Rebound to Markowski.
That's still a good look, I'd say, by Brett, but just got to get those to fall when you're open in the corner. Good find from Feely, though.
The Bowling Green transfer, Elisa Brett, she's brought tenacity on defense and another, really a tertiary scoring option for Michigan. Here's the spin move. Evans working on Brett and makes a very tough shot. A little bit of an answer's jinx, but Nebraska ties the game at 4. Hobbs feeds it inside. Here's Evans. Evans going across towards the free throw line. Good defense. They don't call a foul against Morkowski as she kept her ground and forced the travel by Evans.
Yeah, that was really good defense by Markowski, holding her spot, holding her position defensively, forcing the turnover. And both teams are making themselves earn it. We've seen a couple looks that just haven't been falling. We'll see if these shots start to fall for either side, but both teams are getting some looks that they like. They have to keep that going offensively.
Mm-hmm. So here's Nebraska. They control as they have a bunch of new players in. That's Stewart. Kroll making her move. Kroll, Stewart, both in for Nebraska. Good feed inside. That was an errant pass by Anika Stewart. She was trying to look for her teammate inside. That was Potts on the cut, but it wasn't there.
Yeah, you need a perfect pass if you're going to hit that little lob inside of the paint. Good coverage by the Wolverines to make it difficult, and an errant pass gives the Wolverines possession.
Cameron Williams checking in for the Wolverines. Evans out. Here's Brett on the right side. Feeds it inside to Williams. Back out, left side, Hansen. Hansen gives it to Williams, who has position, and she is fouled by Anika Stewart.
Yeah, good job by Williams getting that position inside and forcing the early foul. Just the second foul already on the Cornhuskers here halfway through the opening quarter.
So the inbound from the baseline. Here's the lob to Williams. Williams, nice easy layup, doesn't go. Rebound Hobbs, and she is fouled once again. So the third foul for Nebraska here in this first quarter.
And Michigan's been getting their offensive rebounds early in this game. They've had a couple of second chance opportunities, but just similar with Nebraska, neither team's hitting their shots. Michigan's 2 for 9, and they've had a lot of quality opportunities too. They're just not getting them to fall.
Michigan will inbound. Left side, Nebraska bench wanted a Hansen travel, and then she hits the three.
Ref saying she bobbled it. Bench wanted to travel, but Hansen quiets that bench with a big-time three.
So Nebraska will control. On the left side, and a foul. Oh, it's going to be an offensive foul. Wow. So Michigan, great defense right there. Not sure who that was on, but Michigan forces the offensive foul, and they'll gain possession. And really, Michigan should be up a little bit more right now. The layups. I think they've had 2 or 3 missed layups so far. That's really contributing to only a 3-point lead for the Wolverines.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They missed a couple of shots inside. We had a couple open threes that have gone wide, but they've been getting those offensive rebounds on a really good rebounding team in Nebraska, particularly with Markowski inside, with the second in the Big Ten in rebounding. So when you're able to get those second chance opportunities on this team, you have to capitalize. Michigan has not done so far. If they do not want to let Nebraska hang around, because they'll get their offense going, but 3 for 10 from the field is not going to cut it early.
Just about to say that.
That's not a good start offensively, but they're getting the looks. Those shots, I think they'll fall, especially the ones inside. You'll have to earn some of them against this quality defense, but if you're Michigan, you got to keep the intensity is there. I really like the intensity that they're bringing on both sides of the ball.
You're stealing my lines. Seriously. I mean, it's been intensity that's really driven Michigan right now, and the only downside is that they're just missing these shots, but they should be up maybe 5, 7, maybe even 10 points.
Yeah, exactly right, and I credit to Michigan for coming out. We said it early in the beginning to come out fast. I think they've done that. We saw Felia pushing the offense on one possession, getting a fast break bucket, or at least an opportunity for 3 that didn't go for Michigan. But just using that speed, I think those shots will fall. If you keep the intensity, I think good things will happen if you're the Wolverines. But obviously, this timeout will be good to kind of refocus and see the ball go in the hoop and get some baskets. That 3 from Lauren Hansen, though, was big, though, for Michigan, just to see the ball go in and to give Michigan the lead.
And I think the other 2 big things coming into this game were rebounds and turnovers. Turnovers, Nebraska struggled all year with those. They have 4 turnovers compared to Michigan's 1. But the real key was coming in against Penn State. Penn State out-rebounded Michigan by 10. Right now, Michigan 3 offensive rebounds to start this game. Very impressive.
Sorry, I'm fixing the scoreboard here. I got a little mix-up on the score. Nebraska's not winning 7-4. Michigan's up 7-4. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was just going to say, the rebounding department when Penn State was really, Penn State had a +10 advantage against them last game. Michigan has done a nice job of rebounding. They have 3 offensive rebounds to start this game.
Yeah, exactly right. I think that's on the coaching emphasizing the rebounding. Michigan not often out-rebounded. But they were there, but they were able to get the win. And against Nebraska, they want to crash the glass like they have early.
Nebraska is a very good rebounding team in their own right. Here's Filia, immediately doubled off the screen. She's been quiet early. Here's Hobbs, feeds it inside. Williams, nice little move with the left hand, and she gets it to go. Cameron Williams for 2. Filia guarding Shelley. Shelley trying to force it inside. Nice pass to Potts, and Potts will draw the foul. And that was a really, really crafty pass from Jazz Shelley.
Yeah, Jazz Shelley, she'll do that. She averages over 5 assists a game. She leads the team in assists as well as steals. So she's a threat on both sides of the ball in that regard. But Michigan's made it difficult, though, like drawing the foul on the shot. But those passes are not coming too easily for Nebraska. They really have to pin it on and thread the needle if they want to get those to go.
First one was good. Second one hits the right part of the rim and doesn't go. Layla Filia starting the rush. Filia going straight to the rim, and she draws a foul. It'll be an offensive foul against Layla Filia. Really good job. Nebraska seemingly right now has had a really good plan for Layla Filia. They're forcing the ball out of her hands.
Yeah, they did there, and they read that drive. They knew they were expecting her to drive inside with some aggression, getting in front. I missed who drew the charge, but credit to her for getting in there, establishing position, and drawing an early foul on Filia.
Scoreless early for Layla Filia. As she checks out, Elise Stuck, Camp Schrader check in. Here's the 3 on the left side. Does not go from Nisley. Here comes Michigan. Camp Schrader has it on the right. Gives it back to Brett. Brett looking up, trying to feed Cameron Williams. She does. Back to Hansen on the right side. Hansen back inside of Williams. Williams, spin move. Left hook doesn't go. Not even close. And a rebound right back to Nisley. Nisley pushes it up to Shelley. Shelley on the left. Shelley makes her move. Left-hand dribble. Back outside, Nisley. Now they go back inside. Markowski immediately doubled, then not. Markowski, tough shot goes with the right hand. A little right hook to cut the lead. 2-2.
This game sped up these past 2 possessions, but good job by Markowski settling things down, working in her preferred area, back to the basket, and get a nice layup to fall.
Williams to the left side of the free throw line. Back to Hansen. Gets the screen from Williams. Hansen right back to Williams. We know Michigan's game plan early. That's Cameron Williams with the righty layup.
This is a really fun matchup. The Williams and Markowski matchup inside has been really exciting to watch early. Williams getting the best of Markowski there on that layup attempt.
Michigan is going right after Nebraska's leading scorer on defense. Here's a 3 that was open that does not go from Kroll, and a rebound to Michigan. Nebraska presses momentarily, and then Camp Schrader brings it across half court. Camp Schrader looks for Hansen. Nebraska trying to disrupt the rhythm of this high-flying Michigan offense so far, and it's Williams once again on the slip with the left hand, and Michigan roaring early inside. They've taken a lead of 6.
I really like the way Michigan's attacking inside. Nebraska looking to answer.
And now Markowski gets the ball in the post, but travels.
A big mass substitution coming for both sides.
Both sides are just substituting, and it will here, keeping me on my toes right now.
But I really like how Michigan is attacking the ball through Cameron Williams inside. She didn't even get to start. Kyra Evans got to start for her, but she's been effective early. She already has 6 for Michigan.
Yeah, she's gotten the ball early and often. Moriarty, Hake, both back in for Nebraska. Here on the right side, it's Woodson. Back to Filia, top of the key. 10 on the shot clock, gets the screen from Evans. Filia immediately doubled. Filia makes her move, gets to her spot. Tough jumper, doesn't go, but an offensive rebound by Kyra Evans. Kicks it back out. Bretta 3, doesn't go. And a rebound to Nebraska. That's Petrie, excuse me. Petrie across the left side, Hake. Hake makes her move. Lefty layup does not go. Rebound, offensive rebound by Markowski, and she is fouled by Kyra Evans.
That's a great drive by Hake, getting the layup. She just couldn't get to fall, but Markowski inside. You mentioned a second leading rebounder in the Big Ten. She's averaging a double-double. She averages 10 rebounds a game. They're getting on the offensive glass, and Michigan with a foul to make her earn at the line, where she's shooting 71%. So now not a bad percentage at the line for Markowski, but you can't give her too many of these looks inside like they do there. She missed the first one, though.
Yeah, she missed the first in Michigan. It feels like this game is coming down to who can stop the bleeding inside, because both teams have gotten plenty of opportunities, whether it's on offensive rebounds or just clean passes inside the paint. Second one goes. Michigan up 5, 13-8, 1:35 left in this first quarter. Another substitution as Nebraska puts on a press. Past couple possessions, trying to throw a little bit of pressure at Michigan. Here's Hansen on the right side, gets the screen, trying to find Felia, could not. Now on a cutter, it's Hobbs. Hobbs kicks it out. Kyra Evans, open three, left side, doesn't go. Rebound up for grabs and won by Shelley. Shelley looking to push. Shelley doubled for the moment. Now back to the top of the key to Markowski, slowing things down. Markowski, oh, good little cut right there. Hake, wide open three, doesn't go. And Michigan looking to push once again. Here's Taylor Woodson. Woodson all the way, offensive foul. Crowd doesn't like it, but what a play by Callan Hake, drawing the charge. It's the third charge Michigan has committed and Nebraska has drawn.
Yeah, credit to the Cornhuskers. They're getting there defensively. I believe that was a good call by the officials to call that a charge. And Michigan being a little careless, trying to go a little aggressive to the paint, and got called for another one there.
Nebraska defense feeling like boom or bust right now. As here's Hake, top of the key, guarded by Hansen. Now back inside, Felia doubling. Markowski gets it out of her hands, and a three open does not go from Potts, and a rebound to Felia and a tie-up. Well, they don't call those on the defensive rebound. Felia didn't hold the ball or didn't rip it away, and Nebraska drew the tie-up, and it will stay with the Cornhuskers.
And we saw Michigan doubling Markowski inside, and she using her vision to kick it out for a three. Lucky that it missed, but on the rebound, you mentioned it, couldn't get it clean and force a tie-up.
Here's Hake, top of the key, trying to feed Markowski, but way over her head, and it'll be a turnover. We've got 28.7 seconds to go in this first quarter, so shot clock will be off. Michigan probably will hold for the last shot.
It looks like they'll take it easy up the court, and we'll see what they draw for this final possession of the first quarter.
Hansen slowing it down under 20. Now she moves over to the right, slowing things down with 10. Now Hobbs, top of the free throw line. Hobbs gives it back. Felia going across the paint. Tough jumper, goes her first point. Layla Felia. And with one, and it doesn't go, but Michigan up and down first quarter, but they got a 7-point lead. It feels like maybe they're up more, but they've been dominant early over the Cornhuskers. Big one in the Big Ten. Michigan 15, Nebraska 8, and Peter, I mean, up and down it felt like, but then you look up at the scoreboard and they're almost doubling Nebraska's score.
Yeah, I would say this was a really fun first quarter. We saw a lot of everything. We saw some fast-paced action. Both teams were looking inside early. We saw Cameron Williams dominate. I believe she finished the first quarter with 6 points off the bench for Michigan as well. I really like Michigan's aggressive attacking Markowski inside and then making it difficult for her on the other end when her teammates are looking to find her inside. We've seen Nebraska turn the ball over a couple times on those entry passes, looking into the paint. I really like how Michigan attacked that first quarter. And they did that with missing a few threes and a few open looks, especially early in the first quarter. They took advantage later in the quarter and got some baskets to fall. Overall, Michigan should be happy with that quarter, especially defensively. Only giving up 8 points against the Nebraska team. That intensity that we talked about has to stay the rest of this way if you want to continue to play the way you're going and come away with a win, though.
You know, Layla Felia, she didn't get her first points at the end of that first quarter to make it 15-8. What have you seen from her? Because she's been guarded pretty tightly so far.
And she has been, but she's still been facilitating as well. Even though she hasn't been aggressive, I believe that was her first shot, or she's 1 for 3 from the field. A couple tough looks inside. Really nice look at the end, though, to get on the board. But we've seen her kick it out to some open players. They just haven't been able to connect on the baskets. For Felia, I think she'll get there. You know, like if she's not going to score, she's going to facilitate. Do what you need to do to help the team. And I think she'll get her shots as the game goes along. You can only stop so much. We'll see if Nebraska really pressures inside, and then when they come in on Cameron Williams or whoever's inside, we'll see if Feely then can take advantage in the mid-range or from beyond the yard.
Yeah, Markowski has been a defensive liability so far, but she does have 5 points to lead the way forward in the Nebraska Cornhuskers. As for the offensive side, they only have 8 points. So how do they improve on their offensive output in the beginning of this game?
Well, when you're 0 for 7 from 3, that's an issue.
That's an issue.
And they've had some open looks, too, Nebraska has, because Michigan has doubled the post, and that's left some openings outside. So if Nebraska can hit those shots, they're right back in this game. If you're Michigan, you have to recover a little quicker to at least put a hand in the face on a couple of those three-point opportunities. But I think if Nebraska, for them, those shots, they'll fall. But 0 for 7 is obviously, and 3 for 11 from the field itself. It's not good enough. We'll see if Nebraska can up that in the second half. Michigan has to be wary that Nebraska will shoot a little bit better as the game goes on, just making those shots tough like they have been. And Michigan should be in a good position. But Nebraska, they're definitely in a good spot, too. Even though only putting up 8 points in the first quarter, they've had the looks. They just haven't been able to fall for them.
Are you surprised by the number of substitutions, that Nebraska has had so far? Because it might be disrupting their rhythm on both sides of the basketball.
They also started with a unique starting lineup, and we'll get to that if we have a moment to talk about your question as the game resumes.
So Michigan will control with the basketball. Kyra Evans, top of the key, swings it left side for Brett. Trying to make a move. She's immediately doubled on the screen. Now gets it inside to Kyra Evans. 14 on the shot clock, but she double dribbled. Trying to move towards the paint. Good defense by Nebraska. That time applying pressure. Defensive intensity definitely picked up on that possession. Turnover, Michigan.
Yeah, 5th one of the game for Michigan. Nebraska has 6, though, so both teams have been forcing turnovers on defensively.
Hake. Cross here, Shelley. Shelley inside. Move. Potts inside, working on the smaller Brett, and gets it to go. Nice spin move.
That's a really good spin move by the freshman Natalie Potts, averaging 10.4 points a game. She's a 5-time Big-Time Freshman of the Week. She's been an instant impact for these Cornhuskers.
Hansen slowing the game down, lead down to 5, and a good job by Markowski getting in the way of the path to Kyra Evans. So 2 times Michigan's gone inside. Nebraska starting to adjust.
Yeah, you mentioned the adjustments. We'll see how Michigan can adjust to the adjustments. The way that this game's going, it's going to be a mind game for offensive looks in this battle.
Love Big Ten February basketball. 2 teams that need this one. Here's Kyra Evans, and she traveled on the pass. She was immediately pressured, and that might have led to that travel.
Yeah, you see that someone coming in the corner of your eye, you jitter a little bit, force the turnover. Michigan sloppy early. They have to clean it up offensively, but credit to Nebraska defensively.
So here is Callan Hake. Left side, Moriarty. Moriarty used a little bit of a push off Michigan. At least Kim Barnes-Arico wanted a offensive foul. She doesn't get it. Now the corner. Markowski kicks it. Nice move. Moriarty inside, and she draws the foul. Nice possession. A little bit of an errant pass from Markowski to Moriarty, but it gets there. Moriarty drives on the baseline and gets it to go and draws the foul.
Yeah, tough pass for Markowski, like around her back toward the corner for 3. Took a slow bounce, but Michigan was all 5 on the one side of the court. Hard to adjust. Moriarty taking advantage, driving inside, drawing some contact, and she'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Kendall Moriarty, the junior, as she misses the first. Starting tonight, she's only averaged, 3 points per game, 1 rebound, 1 assist. So interesting how they continue to shuffle things around. At least Amy Williams has done so far. I can't speak right now. Has done so far this season. Here's Lauren Hansen. As 1 of 2 for Moriarty. Filia gets the screen, immediately doubled off that screen. Now she goes to work. Now back outside, Hobbs. Hobbs, nice behind the back. Jordan Hobbs drawing the foul. Nice move.
Yeah, that was a really nice move behind the back. We'll see. They are going to call it a shooting foul, so Hobbs is going to go to the line for Michigan's first free throws of the game. But you said great move by Hobbs, getting inside, getting past the defender, forcing the contact, and Michigan trying to answer, get a couple points back at the line.
And she had that pivotal steal in that Penn State game, leading to a win at the end. But she just brings the energy. I mean, you could see her on TV when we were watching the game. The intensity, screaming at the camera. She's really that motivating factor for this Michigan team.
Yeah, she has, and she's been having a really good year. One of her best year of her career, and it shows in her confidence that she's portraying, and it's helping this team as a whole as Michigan comes out in a press.
Taylor Williams immediately in and draws the turnover on the press, as Peter just said, an easy layup for Lauren Hansen to increase the Michigan lead back to 8.
Great press, and they're right back to it, at least getting Nebraska to think about it, making it difficult.
Shelley finally gets it up, and an easy layup that was missed. Potts had a wide open layup, couldn't get it to go. Michigan looking to run. Here's Layla Filia in transition, moving back across, and draws the foul. I think it's going to be on the floor, but Nebraska tries to press. They're right into their fast break.
Yeah, Nebraska broke the press, had a wide open layup. They just couldn't get it to fall. Their shooting woes continue for the Cornhuskers, 4 of 13 from the field, and the Michigan running right away themselves. And credit to Filia attacking, drawing the contact, and they're going to call it a shooting foul, so Filia is at the line to shoot her first free throws of the evening.
Wow, originally that foul was on the floor. I think it was switched by the referee. So Layla Filia has a chance to get this game to double digits here in the first half.
They're discussing something, though. I'm not sure if it's related to the foul or if it's related to something else.
They're pointing at the referee right now is pointing at the Nebraska bench. And the music starts playing for a minute.
I honestly have no idea what they're. Looks like they confirmed something, but Filia's going to shoot 2 after whatever discussion they were having.
It'll be a shooting foul. Layla Filia at the line. First one is good. Leads up to 9, and Layla Filia, I mean, can't say enough about her. She has been so good for this program. A lot of players leaving this past year. Past couple years, really, and she has stepped up as the second one does not go. Here comes Nebraska the other way. Michigan leads 20-11. Just over 2 minutes gone by in this second quarter. Taylor Williams applying pressure defensively, and then an errant pass right there by Moriarty forces steal. Michigan, here we go. Filia. Right side, Filia gets to her spot. Jumper doesn't go, and a rebound out to Jazz Shelley. Shelley slowing it down for just a minute. Now kicks it on the right side, Moriarty. Now back across, Kroll, immediately doubled by Cameron Williams. Both teams hedging these screens as that kick out from Shelley. Back left side, Kroll, a 3, and it goes. The lead is down to 6. Nice ball movement by Nebraska.
And we knew those threes are going to fall. Another open look given up by the Wolverines. That one finally hits for Nebraska. We'll see if that can get them going offensively.
As Hansen on the entry on the left side to Cameron Williams. She was fouled, and she's been so good to start. Feels like when she's on the floor, they're going right inside. Cameron Williams, as you mentioned, 6 points, 3 for 5 from the field.
Yeah, they must have saw something that they liked out of Cameron Williams. She didn't even start the game, but when she came in, she made an immediate impact inside, attacking Markowski for a couple of nice layups. They're drawing a foul as Jordan Hobbs re-enters the game for Taylor Woodson. But on the other end, Maddie Kroll with a big 3. This is only her 4th game not starting, but for her to make that impact with the 3 is big.
Here's Hansen off the screen. Corner 3 does not go, and Nebraska will bring it back the other way. Here's Shelley. Stops, pops, and connects. Jazz Shelley back-to-back 3s for Nebraska to cut the lead to 3. Here's Hobbs. Hesitation behind the back. Kicks it out. Brett, a 3. No. And Moan's coming in the building. Here's Kroll, gives it up to Shelley. Shelley sneaking around, baseline, backup layup doesn't go. And Michigan will control the rebound. Here's Hobbs. I mean, she's got great handles. Now kicks it wide open. Lauren Hansen in the corner for 3 to get the lead back up to 6.
What a play by Hobbs. You mentioned those handles, getting a little separation, drawing Hansen's defender in to help, and then kicking out to Hansen in the corner for a big-time 3 to answer.
So here is Jazz Shelley. Now kicks it left side. Good contest from Lauren Hansen on Kroll. Now feeds it inside. Markowski. The spinning layup is good. Left side. You know, Alexis Markowski feeling a little bit more comfortable against Michigan this time around. Leads down to 4. 5:23 to go in this second quarter. Michigan leads 23-19. Here's the pass. Hobbs into side, blocked away from Kroll. Looking for Layla Filia on the cut, and Nebraska will sub once again.
We've seen a couple of those cuts work, especially in the first quarter. But there, Kroll was a really good hand, getting her hand in the passing lane, forcing Michigan to trigger from beneath the basket.
Here's the inbound. Hobbs, almost a dangerous pass, but they get it to Lauren Hansen. Now across right side, Filia. 6 on the shot clock. Filia immediately doubled off the screen. Now an open three. Jordan Hobbs. No. Rebound Shelley. She looks to push once again. 5 to go in the second. Oh, nice spot. No look inside. What a pass from Jazz Shelley.
And a great catch by Moriarty. The pass was a little high, but she was able to corral that really nicely, finish the layup, and 2-point game. This has been a fun one.
Here's the pick and pop. Hobbs spinning baseline, gets it out to Williams. Now across to Brett, right side. Now to Filia. Filia in the corner. Trying to look for Cameron Williams, cannot. Now resets things. Hansen with 8 on the shot clock. Hansen now doubled off the screen. Now splits the double. Shot. Mid-range doesn't go. Rebound to Nebraska. That was Coley on the board. Here comes Nebraska the other way. Kroll. Right side, Shelley. Brett Honor. Nebraska patient right now. Kroll feeds inside. Markowski working on Cameron Williams. Oh, nice move inside. Doesn't get the layup to go. Excuse me, that was Petrie. She could not get the layup to go, and Michigan will go head back the other way. Here's Hobbs. Hesitation. Hobbs driving baseline. No. And a foul on the rebound. So Michigan commits that foul. That'll be their second. And we've got a whistle. High flying action as Michigan leads 23-21, but a nice little run here from the Cornhuskers.
Yeah, Nebraska's really, they've started to hit a couple of shots, and I think that's given them a little bit of confidence. They've hit their last 2 threes. Michigan's on a scoring drought of their own. They haven't scored in the last 2 minutes 15. They're one of their last 7. Both teams have made adjustments throughout this game. It's been a really fun game on both sides. And for Michigan, they've given up a couple of threes. How are they going to respond to that? Slow the game down. It's sped up a little bit at points in time. Michigan drew a couple charges, a little careless trying to drive inside earlier in the quarter. And Matthew, you said this has been a fun one. This has been high pace, high intensity. And Nebraska's starting to they're right back in it. I knew once they hit a couple of shots, you knew they'd get right back in this game. They've upped the shooting percentage back to 42%. Michigan, now they're shooting only 34%. So neither team has really shot the ball really well. Credit to the defense on both sides because, well, both teams have missed some good looks. They've also had some tough shots that are forced from some good defense.
Yeah, and it's been pretty even in the turnover and rebounding department. It feels like whichever team's going to make shots coming down the stretch in this first half and then into the second half is going to win this game. They're playing relatively even so far. I mean, Jazz Shelley, I got to mention this. Some of those passes, the no-look, she's had 2 today. It's been so impressive to watch.
Yeah, she's doing what she does, and that's facilitate. But then she also steps up into a 3 and knocks it down from the top of the key. So we're seeing the best of her from both sides. She's one of the premier players in this conference that may not get talked about as much, especially with Markowski dominating inside for these Cornhuskers. But Jazz Shelley has been strong early. She only has 3 points on 1 for 3, but she's got and the 1 assist. But she feels like she's doing more than the stat sheet has for her.
And with 3:49 to go in this second quarter, Michigan leading by 2. They've made 1 of their last 7. They've had a scoring drought for the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. You know, that's really opened up the game for Nebraska to get back into it. And for Michigan, how do you respond on the offensive side right now as they've been kind of struggling in this second quarter?
I think we want to settle it down a little bit. Try to get Cameron Williams involved. She's not shot a shot in this quarter. Get her inside. Try to see if Nebraska will come with a double, and then let her kick it out to find an open player for a 3. We see Michigan drive inside, draw a couple extra defenders to get a couple looks in the corner. We saw that with Hansen on the drive from Hobbs. So if Michigan can do that a couple more times, get some good looks, I think they'll be in good shape to end this half.
Nebraska trailing by 2, a chance to tie or take the lead on this possession. Here's Shelley driving inside towards the free throw line. Now immediately doubled, kicks it back out. Here's a three. Petrie in and out, and a rebound to Elise Stuck. Stuck gets it to Hansen, and with 3:30, here comes Michigan. Hansen right side, trying to get Taylor Woodson set. Felia, top of the key, kicks it back out. Hansen thought about the three, now gets the screen from Stuck. Thought about the three once again. She's immediately doubled. Now kicks it back on the left side. Swinging it. Hobbs was going to pass it. Now takes an open three. Doesn't go. But an offensive rebound by Layla Filia. She forces up the shot, and it goes. A nice fadeaway shot from Layla Filia.
A great job by Filia being aggressive. Michigan was not getting much on that offensive opportunity, but Filia crashed in the glass, getting the offensive rebound, and putting it back in for two.
Here is Nebraska. Working inside is Petrie. Petrie working on Stuck. Petrie spinning right layup. Ooh, nice move. Jessica Petrie cuts the lead back to 2.
Yeah, that's a nice drop by Petrie. She had 9 points off the bench in their last game in the loss to Rutgers. She's getting involved here with a really nice back to the basket power layup for 2.
Here's Filia. Doubled on the screen. Kicks it out. Hansen driving, but a travel. She moved too quickly, and Nebraska will regain possession.
That's something Michigan wants to clean up. That's turnover number 7 in this first half. They've been a little sloppy. They're only averaging 14 turnovers a game, or 15 turnovers about per game, but a couple mistakes here. We see a couple of those turnovers from charges that Nebraska's drawn, but there's a little travel.
Nebraska will control for the moment. Here's Petrie, right side of the free throw line. Looking, and she moved too much, and that's going to be a 3-second. She was I think her foot was inside the paint, drawing the 3-second call, and it was just too many pivots.
Yeah, I don't think she realized she was in the paint, but good call there, and let's see if Michigan can respond.
Michigan leads by 2. 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. Michigan dominated the first half, but first quarter, but Nebraska has dominated the second. Here's the kick. Here's Hansen. Now outside Brett. Brett looking for Cameron Williams. She gets it to her. Cameron Williams, nice move. Righty layup goes, and Peter, you talked about Cameron Williams.
Yeah, feed her inside. She's got the hot hand, and she's working on Markowski and really playing well. Props to her for taking on that matchup.
Here's a lefty drive. Kicks it out. Nisley. Here's Petrie moving inside, drawing the foul. And Nebraska will get 2 free throws. So back and forth we go. Final 5 minutes of the second quarter. Michigan leads by 4. 1:32 left, but Nebraska, it'll be Natalie Potts at the line, the freshman. She was terrific in the month of January. Freshman of the month in the Big Ten as she makes her first, and she's been ultra impressive. One of the 2 really contributing freshmen for this Nebraska team.
Yeah, and she leads the Big Ten for freshmen in rebounds, field goal percentage, free throw percentage. She's the second leading scorer. She's got all the accolades you want of a big time, early in her career contributor for this program.
Nebraska's got the veteran and young guns for their basketball team. Brett swings it across, corner, inside Hobbs to Williams. Williams moving, paint, nice move, lefty layup, goes. How about Cameron Williams? She's got 10.
What a drop step on the post up, getting past Markowski for a nice easy layup. She has been on fire in this first half.
Here's Markowski, kicks it out, immediately doubled. Here's a 3, and it goes. How about Logan Nisley, the other contributing freshman, to cut the lead to 1? As Hansen pressed but fouled by Shelley.
And that's a great feed inside from Markowski. She averages just under an assist a game, but that was a great find by her inside, finding the open player off the double that when Michigan was applying some pressure into the paint. And props to Nisley for knocking down the 3.
Hansen to Williams, give and go. Hansen, a 3, in and out. Brett trying to grab it, and she does. What a rebound by Elisa Brett. Here's Cameron Williams throwing it too high for Jordan Hobbs, and she was doubled immediately on the pass. So Nebraska will regain possession. 38.2 seconds to go in the second quarter. Let's see if Nebraska holds it or goes for the 2-for-1. It looks like they will hold. Crowd's into it. Michigan leading by 1 over the Cornhuskers. Both teams fighting like it's March here in February. Top of the key, swinging it across. Now Shelley on the left side. Shelley makes her move. She's immediately doubled. Now kicks it to Markowski, but there is not enough time, and it'll be a shot clock violation.
Yeah, I don't know if they realized how much time maybe they thought the maze read was tricking them with the shot clock. Great defensive possession by Michigan, and now they have 7 seconds to get something here before the end of the half and extend their slim lead.
Hobbs will inbound to Lauren Hansen, who is pressed with 5 seconds to go. Hansen making a move. Hansen with 2. Hansen with 1. Makes a move. The 3 does not go. And Michigan will lead 29-28 here in the first half. What a first half it was. A lot of fun. Michigan controlling the first quarter. Nebraska is controlling the second quarter. Both teams struggling a little bit from 3. Both teams under 30% from 3. But overall, a fun matchup. Two teams fighting for their lives. Michigan 29, Nebraska 28.
Yeah, this was a really exciting first half. And I want to give another quick shout out to Cameron Williams. When you have the matchup going up against Alexis Markowski, when you're coming off the bench too, and for her to come in and put up those numbers that she did in the first half, 10 points, she really felt comfortable in the paint, working with her back to the basket on Markowski, and she gave a really important boost to this Michigan team where they were able to simply feed her the ball, let her work inside. She's been able to kick it out a couple times. Overall, Michigan with a really good half. They've given up defensively a couple open looks that Nebraska did not hit early, and they started to hit a little bit late, which allowed Nebraska to cut into their deficit, which I believe got as high as 7 or 9, I believe. So Michigan may want to clean that up, especially if they're doubling inside, which we've seen a couple times, not to give up the open 3. But you mentioned it, This has been a really fun game, and this second half is. I can't wait to watch the second half. It's gonna be a fun one. You can feel the intensity. We've said that. We've harped on that throughout this game. Both teams know what's at stake. Both teams right in the middle of the Big Ten in terms of standings, fighting for seeding for the Big Ten tournament come March in Minneapolis, and then for Michigan especially trying to improve their standing for the NCAA tournament as they're hovering around the bubble. You cannot afford to lose some tough ones. This would be a really quality win at home against a solid Nebraska team.
You know, Michigan, they only scored 43 points in their last meeting versus Nebraska. We questioned whether they would come out with an offensive spark. Who would be the, facilitator to this offense if they're going to take away Layla Filia? Despite the, shooting percentage, under 40%, under 20% from 3, they scored 29 points. Much more than they did at Nebraska.
Yeah, exactly. I think that credit for them being okay with their shots they're not hitting their shots. They're 2 for 3, 2 for 12 from deep, only 12 for 31 from the field. The percentages are low, but when Cameron Williams is 5 for 7, she's been efficient for the team, and Michigan has utilized her early. And then they've had a couple open looks that they've knocked down. I think obviously if you can get the shooting percentage up a little bit, you could really take control of this game. But Nebraska is also in a similar boat, and I think that's a props to both teams' defensive execution. Both teams are hedging really hard on screens, making plays difficult off the pick and roll. And I would give credit to both of these defenses for the reason these shooting percentages are a little lower than we might expect.
Any keys going in the second half for Michigan or Nebraska?
For Michigan, I just keep doing what you're doing offensively. Feed Cameron Williams. Just hit those open 3s when you get them. And I think if you're Nebraska, Markowski, she's 3 for 3 from the field. Get her some more looks inside. Make her more of a vocal point of the offense with her and Jazz Shelley. And I think both teams are in a really, obviously being a 1-point game, both teams are right where they want to be in terms of coming away with the win here. I think both teams, we'll see what adjustments are made in the second half on both sides of the ball for both teams. But I think it's going to be a really exciting one. I'm looking forward to this finish, and I hope you all are too. Appreciate all the listeners, and stay tuned because this is going to be a fun finish.
We'll have Zack and Neal on for the second half. We'll take a couple minutes break, but Michigan, impressive in that first quarter, carried it through to keep a 29-28 lead. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Zack and Neal will have the call for the second half. Thank you for listening. For Peter, for Matthew, so long. And stay tuned for the second.
Hello and welcome live to WCBN Sports on YouTube. My name is Neal Sinha. I'll be your play-by-play broadcaster. Alongside me is our true freshman, Zack Schteingart, who will have our color commentary for this second half. Michigan leads it 29 to 28 over the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Both teams coming in identical in Big Ten play at 6-5. Wolverines 15-8 overall. Nebraska is 14-8. But Zach, the key today is these two teams are on the bubble. Nebraska is said to be around a 9 or a 10 seed by most bracketologists. Michigan squarely on the bubble. Most projections right now have them last 4 in or first 4 out. They're up a point. What do they need to do to hold on to this game and come out on top? It would be a big win for the Wolverines for their NCAA tournament hopes.
I think they really need to establish themselves within their conference and prove that they belong. They deserve to be mentioned among the elite in the Big Ten. Just like sticking with their identity so far this game, not to get ahead of you, sorry, but so far this game they've really been dominating in the paint. They've had a lot of really great looks and been capitalizing on them. So I think they just need to stick to that. And if they can do that against some of these tougher teams down the stretch, then they will definitely prove that they deserve a spot in this year's tournament.
Most definitely. And just as you said, I mean, this is a Michigan team that has been trying to find their identity this whole season. They lost, obviously, over the last few years, quite a few big pieces, of which Layla Felia has really taken over and tried to take the mantle from, obviously Naz Hillman in the past. Felia right now, 5 points, though, 2 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. Not anything too special for the leading scorer for the Wolverines, who's usually averaging 16 a game. What does she need to do to get going in the second half?
Well, like I was saying earlier, she's also had some very good looks down in the paint. They're definitely trying to feed her the ball since she's been the hot hand all season. But as long as she just keeps getting open looks down in the paint, as long as she keeps getting open looks down the paint, she's sure to find her rhythm at some point.
Most definitely. And for Nebraska, on the flip side, the Cornhuskers came into this game being led by their big man, Alexis Markowski, who has averaged 16.4 a game with 10 rebounds a game, averaging a double-double. She's had a solid game so far with 7 points to go with 4 rebounds. Does the offense continue to just flow through her offensively for Nebraska?
Well, I think it would definitely be a very smart idea to do that. She is their leading scorer in this game, along with the freshman Natalie Potts. So I think as long as you continue to run the offense through those two, stick with what they're doing, then they'll be sure to have some opportunities to take command in this one.
So here we go, back to action in Crisler Center in the third quarter. Michigan leads it by a point here. Jazz Shelley comes off a screen on the left wing, gets the ball, fronted by Layla Felia. Shelley now drops it down low to Markowski. Spinning, left-hand layup up and in, and Markowski has her 8th and 9th points of the game to give a 1-point lead to Nebraska. Hansen back the other way, the 2-time transfer from Auburn and Missouri, running the point today. Dumps it off to Brett. Off outside to the far wing, it's Jordan Hobbs now. Felia, top of the key, dribbles in. She's going to try to get going, and she does. Flips the layup up and in, plus a foul. And Layla Felia will have the and one waiting for her at the charity stripe.
And that's a great start to the half for Felia. We were talking about how she needs to maybe step up and find a little more opportunities to score, and that's a great start. And as long as they continue to just have her getting open looks down the paint, they'll be sure to continue that.
Callan Haig picks up the foul there, So Felia completes the and one and gives the Wolverines a 2-point lead here. Here comes Nebraska on the other end. Moriarty with it. Extra pass, Shelley gets a screen from Markowski. Shelley outside, Potts that is, for 3, got it. She was left wide open, and Nebraska takes the lead. Back and forth we go in Crisler.
Yeah, you can't leave her wide open when she's been really efficient in this game, especially from beyond the arc.
Felia at the top of the key, finds Hobbs at the near wing. Back to Felia at the point. Layla now, dribbling, loses it. Nebraska gets it right back. Shelley will cross the timeline for the Cornhuskers. And eventually dumps it off down low. It's Potts into the lane, off the window and in. Nebraska scoring on all 3 possessions to start this game here, or start the second half, I should say. Felia now at the far wing. Outside, it's Hobbs. Back to Felia. Extra pass to Hansen right in front of the Michigan bench. Layla Felia trying to get something going. She gets a screen, dumps it off down low to Evans, who has her pass intercepted, and eventually it ends up in the hands of Jazz Shelley. The other way, here comes Nebraska. Shelley pulls up for 3, deep one. Nothing but nothing there. And Michigan's going to get the ball right back with 8:06 to go.
Yeah, you said it. Nothing but nothing. That shot did not come particularly close to hitting the net at all.
So Hobbs passes the timeline. Felia now at the near wing. Fronted by Shelley. Outside, it's Hobbs again at the far wing. Hansen gets it now. Always a great three-point shooter is Lauren Hansen. Eventually the Wolverines lose it though. Kyra Evans was trying to make a cutting pass to Jordan Hobbs, unable to. Other way, here comes Nebraska. Foul in the lane on the floor. Moriarty was going to the hoop, and they're going to call a foul on Alyssa Brett, I believe.
Boy, a few really costly turnovers for the Wolverines down on Nebraska's end, and they're lucky that one didn't lead to more points for Nebraska.
Yeah, and excuse me, it wasn't a block actually. Brett had her feet set, the officials say, so it's going to be called as a charge. And Michigan will get the ball right back. Hobbs now. Up to the left elbow, it's Layla Felia. To a curling Hobbs. Extra pass down low. Evans wide open for the layup. Got it up and in, and Michigan's within a point with 7:14 to go in the third quarter. Jazz Shelley now at the near wing for Nebraska. Shelley works the pick and roll with Potts. Extra screen from Markowski, and then we get a foul on Wolverines number 22, Kyra Evans right there.
Yeah, great job to get Kyra Evans involved for really the first time in this game. You know, everybody getting some touches in the paint, and that as long as the Wolverines continue to do that, they'll be just fine.
And Logan Nisley comes in for Nebraska. Shelley now, cross-court pass. Into the lane, it's Krull. She whips it back outside. Potts is going to take the wide open 3 where she just made it and misses it short. Rebounded by Nisley. Outside to Shelley, down low to Markowski, and we get a foul on the floor again. And this one's also going to be on Kyra Evans, who is going to have to exit the game as Cam Williams will come into it.
Yeah, Cameron Williams with a really, really strong end of the first half. We'll see if they continue to feed her and maybe get her a little more touches and opportunities to score.
Shelley takes the inbounds to Krull. Into the lane, floater, misses off the mark. A little too strong. Here comes Brett the other way across the Michigan logo. Hansen now. Outside is Jordan Hobbs. Behind the back, Hobbs into the lane. Whips it right back into the lane, and it's Brett missing the runner. Michigan went up for the rebound. We'll get a foul called on Potts. So the Wolverines extend this possession here. 6:22 to go in the third quarter. Michigan trails it by a point to Nebraska. A very fast start here, though, Zach, to this third quarter. Nebraska making their first 3 possessions count. Ever since then, though, Michigan's tightened up the defense.
Yeah, you know, Nebraska really trying to grab the momentum heading into the just right out of the gate in the second half. You know, they ended the first half making it a little bit closer than the Wolverines would like, but, you know, as you said, the Wolverines tightening up on defense.
Hobbs was the trigger woman. Into Brett, down low to Williams, and we get a foul as Williams was fighting for the ball with Markowski. And that's going to be Alexis Markowski's second personal foul. So Michigan will have the shot clock reset again to 20 seconds with 6:17 now to go in the third quarter. Again, they trail it by a point. Inbound to Hansen. And we get a travel call. KBA is not going to be happy about that.
No, she's not. The Wolverines with yet another empty possession. And yeah, KBA's really got to drill it in their minds to learn to finish these off.
It's a Michigan team averaging 15 turnovers a game. They already have 12 so far this game. Potts now, the true freshman. Outside, it's Kroll in the corner. Back to Potts. Dribbling, working on Hansen. Cross-court pass. To the far corner, back down low to Markowski, misses it short on the post hook. Rebounded by Cameron Williams. Here comes Michigan the opposite way. Brett now. Back outside, Hansen thought about the three. Steps in, 1 foot inside the arc, misses it short. Felia fought for the rebound, unable to end up with it. Kroll gets it. Here's Shelley the other way. Outside three by Nisley from the corner, no good. Rebounded by Felia. Back and forth we go with the misses now. Felia out to the corner. It's Alyssa Brett. She goes up to the top to Jordan Hobbs. Now Lauren Hansen. Back to Felia. Michigan will reset with 15 seconds to go on the shot clock here. Just over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Wolverines down 34-35. Felia now gets the high screen from Hobbs. She slips. Felia stuck at the logo. Is going to have to throw up a shot into the lane. Floater up and in. Nothing but net for Layla Felia, and Michigan takes a 1-point lead.
Boy, great patience from Felia there, waiting for the perfect opportunity to get an open look, and she nails it.
Here we go the other way. Markowski now leading scorer for Nebraska. Extra pass, Hobbs. Outside is Jazz Shelley, wide open for three, and she makes it count. Bottoms for Nebraska, and they take a 2-point lead.
Yeah, just continued great efficiency from beyond the arc for Nebraska.
Lauren Hansen across half court. KBA barking out some orders. Layla Felia now at the left wing. Looking for a screen. She gets a slip from Cameron Williams. They switch the defenders. Williams now down low, left-hand post hook, no good. Rims out. Jazz Shelley, as she always is, very quick in the transition and finds Markowski. Michigan's defense wasn't set.
Wow. Yeah, Michigan just completely fell asleep on defense there, allowing
Markowski.
Yeah, Markowski perfect separation there just to get an easy layup.
Few substitutions getting ready to come in. It's Alyssa Brett right now at the top of the key. She goes down low to Hansen. Under the basket, she flips it up and in and out. Eventually it's tipped out of bounds off of Alexis Markowski, so Michigan will retain possession as we hit the under 4 timeout in the third quarter here. Nebraska leads at 40-36, and certainly a couple substitutions for both sides coming after this timeout.
Yeah, no, almost identical end of the possession to the last 2 possessions for the Wolverines. Just a bank shot that just goes in and out of the rim, and you know, the Wolverines just have to continue capitalizing on those looks to get this game back level before they start to fall behind by even more.
Certainly, and for the Wolverines, I mean, not a very high-scoring quarter right there by any means. They, of course, came in with 29 points, ended up with 36. The simple math says they only have 7 points right now in this quarter, and so how do they get the offense going when it feels like Layla Felia has been solid? She, of course, made that great floater at the end there, but just 10 points right now, a little bit shy. Actually, she maybe is still on track of her 16, which is crazy to say because it feels like she's had a quiet night. But do they possibly look somewhere else maybe?
Well, I think they have to continue giving to Cameron Williams, who really seems to be the hot hand right now. You know, at the end of the half when Nebraska seemed to tighten the game up a little bit, she really took control there and made sure to take advantage of her open looks. And so as long as they just continue to get her looks, keep her in the game, and keep I think another thing that would really benefit the Wolverines is just to not try to stray away from the paint too much. I mean, you saw it at the end of the first half. They tried to take a little too many three-pointers that just did not quite fall for them when they were getting really some perfect looks inside the paint. So I think as long as they continue to do that, and then maybe once they if they can get a little bit more of a comfortable advantage, then they can start adding on to the lead with threes. But I think right now, when you're trying to get back into the game, it's best to just stick with what you know.
Yeah, and you know, one big difference, I tell you what, Zach, from this game in comparison to the game we saw earlier between these two teams, Michigan got out-rebounded in this game against Nebraska in Lincoln by 18 when they lost that game by 19 earlier this year. +4 right now in the rebounding battle. How big has that been today?
Oh, it's been huge. Yeah, you know, you've seen some really big offensive and defensive rebounds just from players all up and down the court. And, that's just really key for the Wolverines to just continue to maintain control in this game.
Yeah, 7 offensive rebounds in comparison to the 3 for Nebraska. So Michigan +4 there. And that's been the difference in the rebounding battle. Back to action here. Brett now down low to Cam Williams. Quick shot, up and in, off the window.
Boy, it seems like whenever we mention that they have to feed Cam Williams, she just starts turning it on.
Yeah, she definitely does. And Michigan gets a tip on it. Layla Filia tipped it, and then it eventually went off of Callan Hake. So Michigan is going to get the ball right back here. Couple substitutions for the Wolverines. Elise Stuck came in, as did Greta Camp-Schrader, the transfer from a year ago from Oregon State. But it's still Alyssa Brett running the offense here for the Wolverines. Filia now at the near wing. Gets a screen from Cameron Williams. Goes outside to Brett. Was left alone in the corner. Didn't take it. Camp-Schrader now dribbling into the lane. Kicks it back outside. It's stuck for 3. Got it. Yeah, Michigan takes the lead.
I mentioned that maybe they need to stay away from the three-pointers, but whenever you get a look that wide open, you have to take it and just trust in yourself.
And Elise Stuck, only a 17% three-point shooter on the season. Did not look like it there. Nebraska on the other end gets fouled on a three-point attempt. Man, that is a killer for the Wolverines. Logan Nisley was taking it.
Boy, yeah, no, just when it seemed like they were going to get some momentum back, they just a very clear foul that really altered Disley's shot.
And they're going to call it on Alyssa Brett. So Logan Nisley will go to the line here for 3 free throws, with Nebraska down 40-41 to the Michigan Wolverines. So Nisley, quick release on the first one. She got it to go off the back iron. Solid showing here at the Crisler Center. The band, as always, getting very loud when they can during the free throws as Nisley makes the second. So Nebraska takes a 1-point lead, and Logan Nisley now has her 3rd free throw awaiting her at the charity stripe. Quick release again. Bottoms. 2-point Nebraska lead as we get a substitution. Jazz Shelley checks back into the game for Logan Nisley.
Yeah, great job by Nisley there to stay calm, cool, and collected at the line and hit all 3 shots.
So here's Camp-Schrader now across the court. A little bit of a soft press from Jazz Shelley there. Filia now at the near wing. Fronted by Krull. Filia gets around it. Extra pass on the outside. It's Brett down low to Williams now in the post. Cam Williams flips it up and unable to get it to go with the left hand. Here comes Callan Hake the other way. Loose dribble. Dumps it off for 3. Nebraska off the mark. That was Jazz Shelley. Here comes Filia now racing in the transition. Filia all the way coast to coast and then misses the layup off the backboard, but she'll catch a foul on Jazz Shelley and go to the line.
Boy, great drive by Filia, just ever so slightly altered by the foul there, but she had a really clean path to the basket there, and I think without the contact, that had a really good chance of going in.
Layla Filia will have 2 free throws awaiting her here. First one rims out. Man, touched every bit of the rim right there, did it for Layla Filia, the 81% free throw shooter on the season. Zack, it is just dead quiet here in Ann Arbor, and Filia misses both rebounds, but it's picked up by Cam Williams, who then flips it up and in.
Boy, great instincts by Williams there to just quickly grab the miss and get it evened out anyway for the Wolverines.
Shelley now to the near corner. It's Krull. Krull goes down low. Nebraska looking for some scoring from Jessica Petrie here. Down low in the paint. She kicks it out. Callan Hake working on Brett. Back out. Petrie. Step back jumper. No good. Loose rebound corralled in by Jazz Shelley. Eventually Markowski ends up with it and misses it off the backboard. Tie game still in Crisler Center here at 43. A minute and a half to go in the 3rd quarter. Camp-Schrader now at the top of the key. Outside to Brett. She goes down low at the right elbow. Cam Williams eventually ends up with it at the right wing. Passes it outside to Brett. Trying to make something happen. 5 on the shot clock. 3 from Elise Stuck. Leaves it short. Rebounded by Nebraska. Callan Hake now in transition. Off the window and in. It's Jessica Petrie getting the foul on top of it. And so she'll have an and one awaiting her as Nebraska takes a 2-point lead with 1:07 to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about the rebounding for the Wolverines in this game. A little absent on those last two possessions. You know, when last time the Cornhuskers were on offense, they missed a key rebound that almost led to another putback shot. And, you know, just down there, good ball movement by the Wolverines, but unable to get a shot to go, and leads to the Cornhuskers getting back on top with a chance to go up by 3.
So quite a few substitutions actually. One by one we go here as Lauren Hansen is the last one. She'll come in for Greta Kampschrader. Taylor Williams came in for Jordan Hobbs. For Nebraska, Moriarty is back on the court, as is Katie Potts. So here's the and one free throw. Got it. Does Jessica Petrie, and so Nebraska takes a 3-point lead. Taylor Williams inbounds to Lauren Hansen. Soft press for Moriarty. Hansen now in the front court. Finds Filia at the left wing. Filia looking for a slip screen from Cameron Williams. Eventually passes it outside. Lauren Hansen now at the right wing. Cam Williams now at the top of the key. She goes to Brett. Into the lane. Dumps it off to Taylor Williams at the charity stripe. 2 seconds on the shot clock. Williams has to throw up a prayer just short and out of bounds. It'll be Nebraska ball.
Yeah, just a sloppy possession from the Wolverines there. And Williams just barely being able to get his shot off. Yeah, no, just have to create some more open looks down there. The Cornhuskers really not giving them anything.
Certainly been a defensive battle so far today. Michigan's scoring offense coming into this game was averaging around 70 a game, as we had a full court press from the Wolverines. Nebraska eventually breaks it. Michigan then switches back into their man defense. So it'll be Jazz Shelley at the Michigan Block M logo. 7-second difference between the shot clock and game clock here in the third quarter. 15 seconds left on the game clock. They go down low to Petrie. Jessica Petrie falling away from the basket, off the window and too strong. And eventually we get a tip ball out of bounds. It'll be Michigan ball as we have a Cornhusker down momentarily, and she gets up quickly. It's Jazz Shelley.
Yeah, no, the Wolverines with a good hold there inside, and, you know, and as Hobbs comes back into the game on a substitution, she'll take the inbound. But the Wolverines with a great opportunity here to tie the game up.
So 5 seconds left on the game clock. Filia across half court finds Hobbs for 3. Off the mark, rebounded by Williams after the buzzer, and the layup wouldn't have counted if it went in. She didn't make it anyway. So Michigan losing right now 43-46 as we enter the fourth quarter in this all bubble matchup for the eventual March Madness and NCAA tournament. Both of these teams squarely on the bubble. Michigan really needing a win. They got a great one this past week on the road at Penn State, a team that is likely going to be in the NCAA tournament as of right now. And Zach, that third quarter, Michigan outscored by 4 in that quarter. They trailed by just 3. It's certainly a great game as we head into the final one. But for Michigan, you're down 3. What do you think KBA is telling her squad right here?
Well, I think she's telling them that, you know, even though this is that was the first quarter in the game where they really kind of fell behind, I think she's just letting them know to stick with it, play their game, maybe like try to create some space for their shots, and just stay composed and so they can get back on top.
Yeah, for the Wolverines, it really cannot be understated how badly they need this game. Of course, for Big Ten tournament seeding hopes, this is a big one between a Nebraska team that's also at 6-5 in conference. And so Michigan trying to stay in the top 6 of the Big Ten, possibly try to hope for a double bye in the tournament. But, I mean, as of right now, you look at their upcoming schedule, it doesn't get easier. They have Rutgers this upcoming weekend, but then they go at Iowa, one of the best teams in the country, possibly the best player of all time in college basketball, Caitlin Clark.
Without a doubt, yeah.
And you have Michigan State afterwards. I mean, it's a tough schedule. The Big Ten's a great conference. For Nebraska to go on the other side here, it's a Nebraska team that comes in. You know, most people have them projected mainly in the tournament as of right now. But for them, it also doesn't get easier. They play the two best teams in the Big Ten upcoming against Iowa this weekend, and then Ohio State the weekend after. Two teams that are likely going to be top 3 seeds in that NCAA tournament. I mean, what does Nebraska need to do on the other side to hold on to this game?
Well, I think they need to just they've been really efficient from the three-point line, and defensively forcing quite a few turnovers from the Wolverines there, and just to continue riding the momentum that they obtained in that last quarter, and continue to just be efficient from beyond the arc, and yeah.
Sure. Nebraska shooting 29% from 3. Michigan, in comparison, just 21%. It has not been a strength today. So back to action again. Jordan Hobbs wide open for 3. She'll take it right away and make it. And that's going to help the three-point percentage, but more importantly, it ties up the game with 9:45 to go. So here we go, tie ball game at 46 in this bubble matchup at Crisler Center. Eventually, Katie Potts has it on the outside. Dribbling into the lane, it's Jessica Petrie. And we get a whistle on the court. What is the call? I believe it's going to be a foul on Cameron Williams here.
Yeah. A great shot there by Jordan Hobbs just to get the Wolverines back level.
So here we go. 20 seconds on the shot clock. 9:30 to go. The inbounder will be Logan Nisley. She eventually finds Natalie Potts. Off the outside now. Nebraska finds their leading scorer, Alexis Markowski, in the lane working on Cameron Williams. Spinning, post-up play off the window and in with the post hook. Nebraska regains a 2-point lead, 48-46.
Yeah, when you want to get the momentum back, who better to turn to than your leading scorer, calling for the ball all the way in the paint, and she finishes it off.
Markowski now with 13 points. Michigan on the other end. It's Felia at the left elbow. Outside Hobbs had a step at the three-point arc. Dumps it down low to Alyssa Brett, and she makes the layup count. Michigan ties it back up.
Those are Brett's first points of the game, if you can believe that.
Wow. Such a great facilitator of the ball is Alyssa Brett for sure. Now she's going to play some defense on ball against Natalie Potts. Nebraska now resets with 15 seconds on the shot clock. It's Petrie directing the offense here. She goes out to the far wing to Logan Nisley. Some off-ball action. They go to Markowski, who has 13 points already, the leading scorer for Nebraska. Off the window and off the mark. Rebounded by Alyssa Brett. Michigan the other way. Hansen in the fast break. Runs straight into and over Callan Hake, and that's going to be a charge on Lauren Hansen. And so Nebraska will get it back. Jazz Shelley checks back into the game as Logan Nisley comes out. Callan Hake now slowly dribbles it across half court. Dumps it off to Maddie Krull. Now outside is Jazz Shelley. She gets a screen from Markowski, as she always does. Wolverines switch on it. And eventually wide open is Moriarty, who misses the three, rebounded by Williams. Here's Hobbs now on the other end. Hobbs behind the back pass. As a Cornhusker goes down, we'll get a blocking foul on the court on Natalie Potts. And excuse me, I said that Moriarty took the last shot. It was actually Natalie Potts. Still a tie game though here, Zach. 7:50 to go.
Yep. Let's see what the Wolverines will do with this possession.
Well, and not much is what they're going to do, is unfortunately for the Maize and Blue, Alyssa Brett is going to get called for an off-ball moving screen. She was trying to set it on Jazz Shelley. Nebraska is going to get the ball back.
Yeah, once again, Michigan coming up with a few too many of these empty possessions, this time due to offensive fouls.
So here's Hake dribbling right to the basket. Michigan gave her a police escort to the bucket, but she missed it. Eventually rebounded by Felia, who then rips it out of the hands of Natalie Potts. And we'll get a foul on Natalie Potts. That will be her second quick foul right there. That's going to be her fourth personal of the game with 7:35 to go. Tie ball game at 48.
You said it. They really gave her a police escort to the basket down there. Good hold by the Wolverines and great fight for the ball by Felia.
And so with that fourth personal foul, Kendall Coley comes out of the game for Natalie Potts. Again, tie game in Ann Arbor with just under 7.5 to go. Felia now at the near wing. Outside, Hansen wanted the three. Dribbles in, cross-court pass outside. Brett wide open for three. Nothing. And eventually tipped out of bounds off of Markowski. So Michigan will get a second chance here with 11 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, good opportunity to regroup. You know, that was a good look for Brett. Just a little too much arc on it. But now we'll see what the Wolverines can draw up. Maybe see if they go for a little different philosophy and go inside the paint.
Certainly a surprise from Alyssa Brett, who's shooting 36% from behind the arc on the season. Hobbs now into the lane. She's a great three-point shooter of her own, but gets this post hook to go off the window and in. Michigan takes a 2-point lead. Maddie Kroll now for Nebraska at the right wing. Kroll gets a screen from Coley. They go outside. Shelley into the lane, dumps it off. Coley wide open under the hoop, gets the layup, but we're going to get a blocking foul called first on Jordan Hobbs on the floor.
Back and forth we go here. These two teams fighting for every lead they can get.
6:57 to go. It's 50-48 here at the Crisler Center. Kim Barnes-Arico at half court wondering about that last call. Eventually we get an inbound. Jazz Shelley now knifing her way through the defense. Gets the bucket to roll in as the ball does off the front iron. And they'll call a foul on top of it. And that's going to go. We're going to wait for it. Alyssa Brett is going to get the call there. So Nebraska will have the classic three-point play awaiting them here. Tie game at 50 with 6:54 to go. And Brett has picked up her fourth personal foul. Quick substitution for Nebraska as the officials are going to keep talking it over. I think they're trying to get the personnel right. And for the Cornhuskers, Callan Hake, came off. Kendall Moriarty came on. And so here's the free throw by Shelley. Misses it, but it's tipped back up and in by Alexis Markowski. Instead of a three-point play, it'll be a four-point play for Nebraska, and they take a 2-point lead.
I think the Wolverines might have had a little bit of a hand in helping that one get tipped back in on the offensive rebound.
Yeah, definitely a baller's nightmare when you're going for a rebound, that's for sure. Felia now into the lane. Stop and go. Pulls up with the runner, misses it short, and eventually tipped out of bounds again off of Alexis Markowski. So Michigan's going to have their second straight possession here where they'll have a second chance opportunity.
Yeah, and last time they took full advantage of that second chance and cashed in, so we'll see if they can do the same here.
Wolverines trail at 50-52 with 6:29 to go in the final stanza here. Hobbs will be the trigger woman. Inbounds looking for Brett under the basket. She misses the layup, tries to get her own rebound, but will get a blocking foul first on Cornhuskers number 42. That's Maddie Kroll, the senior from Omaha.
Yeah, good look for Brett there, trying to catch the Cornhuskers defense a bit off guard with a quick pass inside. Just a little bit short, but now she will go to the line to shoot two.
Alyssa Brett, obviously probably a little bit of a sigh of relief right there as she makes the first free throw. She's sitting at 4 personal fouls. Could have possibly been called a charge, but instead she'll stay in this game. She's picked up 2 quick ones recently. So Brett now has her second from the line, shooting 87% from the line, and she misses it off left. And again, it's off Nebraska. My goodness, Michigan's going to have another opportunity.
Wow, the Wolverines getting very many breaks here with these balls that keep going their way.
Amy Williams cannot be happy, the head coach for Nebraska. 20 seconds on the shot clock with 6:26 to go. Hansen left wide open at the left wing, just too strong. Rebounded by Moriarty.
Boy, Kim Barnes-Arico cannot be happy that the Wolverines could only get 2 points out of that, or 1 point, excuse me.
Wide open, Coley on the other end, misses it just short off the glass, and eventually tipped out of bounds. It's going to be Michigan ball again. Amy Williams didn't like that call. She thought it was Nebraska ball.
No, but regardless, a point of practice for Nebraska this week is definitely going to be holding on to the ball or just letting it go out of bounds when you're going to get it back. It's really plagued them here.
Yeah, Michigan out-rebounding Nebraska 34-23 right now. and they're still trailing this game by a point. The Wolverines come in 13-1 without rebounding their opponents. Hansen now at the left wing. Outside to Filia. Into the lane. Stops at the charity stripe. Misses it just short. Rebounded by Markowski.
Filia has really been trying to.
On the other end, Coley gets the transition layup to go. Nebraska extends its lead to 3.
Yeah, I was saying Filia really trying to take advantage of that floater jumper there, but it just has not been able to go for her.
Yeah, Layla 4 of 9 from the field. Kyra Evans getting ready to come into the game. Hobbs gets a high screen from Cameron Williams. Hobbs now into lane, off the window, off the high glass with some English and in. How about that by Jordan Hobbs to cut it to 1?
Yeah, some great touch by Hobbs there. Getting a perfect roll off the high backboard and rolls in.
Nebraska now will look to answer and extend. Jazz Shelley wanted to go down low to Moriarty. She gets a high screen from Markowski. Coley now down low to Markowski. Left-hand layup up and in. Alexis Markowski now with 17 points.
Yeah. Not ideal for the Wolverines there in that spot, just to post up. Don't want to draw a foul, but also don't want to give up the points outright.
4:45 to go. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Filia, high screen from Cameron Williams. Goes around to the right side. Filia into the lane and throws it into, I don't even know what that's called, between the heel of the rim and the backboard, and it gets stuck. They're going to need to poke it out as they do, and we'll get immediate timeout with 4:35 to go. It's going to be a jump ball because of it. I believe the possession arrow was Nebraska's way. So Nebraska should get the ball. They're up 3, 56-53 with 4:35 to go.
Yeah, the Wolverines can't be too satisfied with the amount of points that they've gotten out of all of these second chance opportunities. I mean, that was a great shot by Hobbs there just to get it down to 1. Unfortunately, the defense couldn't hold, but we'll see with this extended timeout that they get now here what they can draw up to tie this game back up and potentially go back in front.
Yeah, Layla Filia, 4 of 10 from the field today. It's been a somewhat quiet night with just 10 points. The leading scorer for the Wolverines as of right now is Cameron Williams with 14 points. They're down 3 again, but Nebraska has made 4 of their last 5 field goals. It feels like Alexis Markowski's really been getting going as of recently. She has 10 points this half. She's sitting at 17 in total.
Absolutely, yeah. And, you know, she is the leading scorer she's the leading scorer for this team. Good to always good to feed the hot hand. She's been very efficient in this game. We were sort of wondering how they would get her more involved in the second half. But, yeah, the Wolverines just need to kind of lock up on her, focus on her, and make sure that she's not getting the looks that she has gotten in the paint.
Yeah, again, Michigan really needs this game. There's no doubt about it. They are squarely on the bubble, as we've mentioned all night long. And this would be a great win for the Wolverines at home against a solid Nebraska team. They came in 14-8, is projected to be a tournament team. Wolverines trail it by 3 with 4:35 to go. Zach, what do you think is the last thing that KBA is saying for the Michigan Wolverines? Keep in mind, they have 4 timeouts to the left for this game.
Well, I think she just wants to instill confidence in them that they can tie this game back up. But more importantly, they need to tighten up on defense as well. At home this year, Michigan has only surrendered 57.7 points per game, which is better than they fared in away games at 66.5. So we've seen a decent defensive showcase from them here so far, but they just need to keep this game close and take advantage on offense.
And so starter Kyra Evans comes back into the game. She has 4 personal fouls, keep in mind. Nebraska has it now. Quickly, Kendall Moriarty into the lane, dumps it down low, and up and in off the window. It's Jessica Petrie, and Nebraska extends the lead to 5. Lauren Hansen now across the block end. Hansen finds a curling Layla Filia. She dumps it off to Hobbs. Up top to Kyra Evans. She sets a screen then for Alyssa Brett. Down low to Evans looking for it. Flips it outside. Hansen wide open from the corner and got it. She makes an all 3 count, and Michigan cuts it to 2.
Boy, great wide open look from Hansen there. She takes full advantage of it, and the Wolverines can tie this game back up if they hold.
Oh boy, and we're going to get a blocking foul called on Alyssa Brett. She is going to foul out of this game here. That's her 5th one.
Boy, that is not what the Wolverines need at all at this point in time.
No doubt.
They've really been getting kind of reckless here with the fouls. They just need to make sure none of their other starters foul out of this game.
Yeah, Moriarty was dribbling into the lane. Brett is still on the court right now, and KBA eventually slowly goes to Elise Stuck without putting up a small protest with the officials. So Stuck checks into the game. Nebraska will have a 1-and-1 awaiting here. It's Kendall Moriarty, a 81% free throw shooter on the season with 3:49 to go. None of them bigger than this. Misses the first, and actually it's going to be 2 free throws, they say. With the Wolverines at 5 team fouls, so Moriarty gets a second one. Again, 2-point lead for Nebraska. Makes this one count, and so Cornhuskers extend it to 3.
It stays within a 1-possession game. The Wolverines now moving it back up the court.
Hansen now across the timeline. This one seems to be coming down to the final whistle. Elise Stuck now. She hit a big 3 earlier in the game. Finds Feely at the top of the key. She switches it to Evans. Eventually Hansen now comes off a screen. Gets another one from Kyra Evans. Hansen cross-court pass. Feely in the corner. Dribbling into the lane. Layla Feely off the window and too strong. Rebounded by Markowski. Felt like a good look right there, Zach.
No, yeah, just another good look for Felia that just does not go down. She really has seen quite a few of these, and the Wolverines can't seem to get rebounds to keep the possession going.
Shelley eventually throws it away. She was looking for Markowski. It's going to be an empty possession for Nebraska, and so Michigan gets the ball back.
The story of this 4th quarter has really been the Cornhuskers sort of giving the ball back to the Wolverines with these out-of-bounds possessions.
So Hansen now facilitating for the Wolverines. Eventually go to Stuck. Back to Hobbs at the top of the key. Such a dangerous 3-point shooter. She dumps it off to Evans in the lane. She got bumped, no call, and misses the layup under the hoop.
My goodness, she had Felia wide open in the corner there as well. Not sure if she was even able to look to the side, but yeah, just a tough break there.
2:40 to go now. 15 seconds on the shot clock. Outside is Jazz Shelley at the near wing. Shelley dribbling into the lane with the left hand. Flips up a fall-away floater and got it. Nebraska extends the lead to 5 with under 2.5 to go at 61-56.
And those are the moments when you really need your players to step up and sort of tighten the lead a little bit, and they just certainly did there.
Here comes Michigan. The pressure is certainly mounting right now. Hansen open in the corner. Decides not to take it. Dribbling's back out to the top of the key. Hansen loses the dribble, gets it back. High screen for the Wolverines from Evans. Hansen in the lane, stepping back, falling away, misses it short. Wolverines fighting for the rebound. What's the call as we get a whistle? And it's going to stay on the offensive. No, it will not. Kyra Evans. Oh, man. That's also not going to help, Zach. Kyra Evans picks up her 5th personal foul, and she has now fouled out of the game, making that 2 for Michigan.
The Wolverines having to go back to the bench one by one. Certainly not what you need from the players that you were expecting to have a big impact on this game down the stretch.
And on top of that, it's 7 team fouls for the Wolverines. And although it came in the front court, Alexis Markowski's going to have free throws awaiting her. Markowski with 2, and she misses the first one just too strong. Markowski coming into the game, a 71% free throw shooter on the season. Markowski now at the line, takes 2 dribbles, deep breath, and gets the second one to go. So she splits the pair and extends it to a 6-point lead with just under 2 minutes to go, and Kim Barnes-Arico is going to call a timeout.
The Wolverines seemingly having lost all the momentum that they built up in the first half. We kind of saw it trending that way throughout the 3rd quarter, but this late in the game, you know, falling behind 2 possessions, and kind of like they haven't been able to find what was so successful for them in the first half with the points in the paint and the offensive rebounds. Those just have not gone their way at all. And on top of that, a lot of their players especially Brett and Evans fouling out of this game at such a crucial moment. Just things not really trending the Wolverines' way right now.
Yeah, and while Brett and Evans might not light up a box score, they certainly do so in terms of keeping this Michigan team together. Two great contributors and obviously two starters as of recently. And so Michigan's going to have to do without them the final 2 minutes. It is only a 6-point game. It's still a game, no doubt about it, though. But Michigan starting on the offensive end. Who do you go to right here to try to cut it to either 3 or 4?
Well, you saw her come back out onto the court momentarily before the timeout. Cameron Williams has not made too much of an impact in this second half, but I think with your options getting a little bit more limited, you have to stick with her. Make sure that she can be able to get the shots that she's comfortable taking and get a few quick looks so that not too much time is drained off the clock and the Wolverines can tie this game back up or go in front.
The fans are getting loud to the Blues Brothers here in Ann Arbor.
One of the
band always rocking out here in Crisler Center.
Yeah.
But you said it. I mean, I think, obviously Jordan Hobbs has been a great three-point shooter this season. Michigan have quite a few different options. We'll see where they go. It feels like Lauren Hansen, who has had a very solid season for the Wolverines coming in as a transfer, and as a solid three-point shooter, could be, maybe that other option that you mentioned. And we'll see what the substitution is here for the Wolverines. At least out of the huddle, it'll be a 5 of Lauren Hansen, Layla Felia, Elise Stuck, who will be the trigger woman at the sideline. Jordan Hobbs is standing in the corner, and Cam Williams is acting big. So we have 2 Wolverines in the corners.
Williams, the Wolverines' most efficient field goal shooter tonight at 7 of 11.
Felia goes into the lane, maybe trying to find a quick bucket. She goes back outside to Hobbs, takes it all the way to the hoop, off the backboard and in. Jordan Hobbs making plays, my goodness, and Michigan is still alive in this game here, Zach, cutting it to 4, and we'll have a free throw awaiting them.
Perfectly executed play by Hobbs there. It's almost like Kim Barnes-Rico drew it up, hoping to get the foul there, just to make it a little easier on her players.
So Hobbs gets the free throw to go and converts the three-point play. So Michigan is within 3. A small full-court press here.
Crowd really trying to get in the Cornhuskers' head. And
Michigan gets a steal. Lauren Hansen got it at half court. And then eventually we get a kick ball on Jazz Shelley. Thought for a second there that Michigan might have wasted that possession, but the full-court press pays off with 1:33 to go.
Once again, the Wolverines getting a second chance off of what could have been a turnover, and we'll see if they can take advantage of it again.
So here we go for the Wolverines, down 62-59. They inbound to Jordan Hobbs. Hansen, the facilitator, gets it back. She dumps it off to Hobbs. She got the last bucket for the Wolverines. They go down low to Williams, outside Hansen. Back to Williams at the right elbow, spinning, trying to find some space. Eventually goes to Felia, who turns it over as Jazz Shelley gets it right back.
Might be time for the Wolverines to start fouling.
Definitely going to have to be somewhat soon if they don't get it going on the offensive end. A couple ball screens here for Nebraska, and eventually Maddie Kroll gets tripped up, and maybe unintentionally Michigan does start fouling right there with Cameron Williams at the block M. 1:04 to go. The Wolverines trail it by 3. It's going to be Maddie Kroll headed to the line. And I tell you what, Zach, if you're going to foul anybody, that is the person you want to, shooting 50% from the free throw line.
Yes, last time she was at the line, she did miss one of her free throws. And
so Kroll with the Michigan band behind the hoop, waving their hands. She misses the first free throw.
Crowd really a factor here.
KBA
especially in these tight moments.
Speaks briefly to Hansen, and Kroll makes the second count, though. So a 4-point game in Ann Arbor. Hansen gets it in the backcourt. Kendall Moriarty is fronting her. Hansen down low at the right elbow to Cameron Williams. She dumps it off to Hobbs in the lane. Hop step off the window and no good. Rebounded by Shelley. Michigan was so close to cutting it to within 2. Jazz Shelley now. Layla Feely is all over her, not giving her much room here. She's denying any entry pass. My goodness. 13 seconds on the shot clock. Great defense from Feely. Eventually high screen from Markowski. Shelley into the lane. Dumps it off to Potts. Off the backboard and doesn't get it to go. Hansen now with the rebound. 20 seconds left in this game. Michigan's got to score quick. Almost turned it over. Stuck eventually ends up with it. And we get a timeout by KBA with 17 seconds left. So Wolverines trail at 63-59 with 17.2 to go. They're going to need a quick bucket here, Zach.
They need a quick bucket and seemingly nothing short of a miracle to make sure this game ends in regulation in the Wolverines' favor. But if they can get a quick bucket here, maybe force a foul on the other end, hope for the best with that. I think that's the Wolverines' best shot of winning this, of taking this game to overtime. Excuse me.
Yeah, and again, big game. We've mentioned all the reasons why if you're just joining us. An all-bubble matchup here at the Crisler Center in Ann Arbor between Michigan and Nebraska. Both teams on the bubble for the NCAA tournament, of course, which will be happening next month. Both teams coming into this game at 6-5. The pressure, the tension certainly building here in the Crisler Center. Michigan needs a quick bucket. It'll be Lauren Hansen as the trigger woman. Off the baseline, she finds Hobbs. Wide open for three from the corner. Misses it short. And eventually we get a foul on Hobbs for the loose rebound. Maddie Kroll will head to the line. She was open. She had a little bit of space. Of course, it was an off-platform three as she was coming off a screener there, Zach, but unable to make it count. They needed that.
No, they really did. Just trying to get a quick shot out there, but a little bit maybe maybe needing to get it off so quickly, forced it an errant shot. Could not go for the Wolverines.
And so Kroll split the two free throws earlier. She makes the first one this time and extends it to a 5-point game. 13.7 seconds left now. The Michigan band yelling from behind the hoop. Kroll misses the second, but eventually it's rebounded by Markowski. That might do it here.
Yeah, they
that
can just
might
dribble it out now.
Quick foul by Lauren Hansen.
Looks like that's it.
On Kendall Moriarty. But I think this one's going to be over with 8.4 seconds left. Nebraska leads it by 5.
Yeah, just a really disastrous second half for the Wolverines there. Built up a lot of momentum in the first half, kind of really lost it straight from the jump in the third quarter. And in a game that was so crucial for them to stay alive with a tough schedule coming up. Just brutal.
Moriarty misses the first free throw. Fans are starting to leave this one a little bit early here. The second one goes. And so it's now a 65-59 lead for the Cornhuskers with 8.4 seconds left. KBA is going to use one of her final 2 timeouts. Michigan just hasn't shot it well today. 39% from the field, 26% from 3. Has it just been one of those nights, Zach? Because it feels like their offensive sets have honestly provided them somewhat open looks at times.
No, it does definitely seem like one of those nights. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, the Wolverines seem to be in such a great rhythm down in the paint in the first half. But starting toward the end of that first half, you started to see them kind of stray away from that a little bit and try to go for a little bit more open looks. Jordan Hobbs, however, Lauren Hansen has come up big for the Wolverines in some aspects in three-point shooting, but really just a tough night for the Wolverines.
Here we go.
Field goal shooting.
Michigan needs a quick shot. Felia, they're not even going to get a 3 here. Hobbs has her shot tipped off the backboard, and that's it. That is all she wrote. The Nebraska Cornhuskers come into Ann Arbor and pick up a massive quad 2 victory with a score of 65-59.
That puts them in much better positioning for the tournament the next month. With the tough schedule for both of these teams coming up, just a crushing loss for the Wolverines. They felt that this was their best shot to get a leg up in terms of tournament positioning, and they just could not come through.
And Amy Williams has to be happy. A big-time victory for the Cornhuskers in a game that they were out-rebounded. We talked about it earlier, how this Nebraska team out-rebounded Michigan earlier in the season when they met in Lincoln by 18 and won the game by 19. Wasn't all too close, and maybe it might just be that of just a matchup nightmare for the Wolverines. But what a great win for Nebraska. And, I mean, what did they do just so well today? Of course, Markowski was great with 18 points and 9 rebounds, getting almost her double-double average. But was it just Markowski? It feels like a great team effort today.
No, definitely a lot of players came up big for Nebraska, especially in the second half. Natalie Potts with 12 points, very efficient from the field goal, and also Jazz Shelley making her presence felt in the second half quite a bit. But yeah, Nebraska just showing great resilience when they fell behind in the first half, and they started hitting the shots that they needed to in the high pressure moments, and when you're feeling comfortable doing that, almost nothing can stop you.
Yeah, and maybe the difference in this one, Zach, is that Michigan just one field goal of their last 7. Nebraska, meanwhile, made 4 of their last 5. That's a 3 field goal difference right there, and Wolverines lose it by 2, almost 3 possessions. So that right there is possibly the killer. Nebraska stepped up when they needed it the most at the end of this game. For Layla Feely, it felt like it just was a little bit short of what you would usually expect from number 5 today. 10 points, 4 of 11 from the field. Did not even attempt a 3-pointer today.
No,
just wasn't her night.
No, yeah, and especially down the stretch, you saw her taking a lot of those fadeaway jumpers that just could not fall for her. But yeah, no, definitely not the night she was hoping for, and the Wolverines just, as a whole down the stretch, could not seem to get the shots that they wanted to fall.
And for the Wolverines, we mentioned that difficult schedule that is certainly going to be coming up. They play Rutgers this weekend on Saturday at home here in Ann Arbor. A Rutgers team that's dead last in the Big Ten. Of course, they'll be favored in that game. But afterwards, they have to go to Iowa City to play Caitlin Clark and the Hawkeyes, the best team in the Big Ten, one of the best teams in the country. And then afterwards, they play a Michigan State team that has had a very solid season at 7-4 in the conference. So for the Wolverines, it's not going to be easy sledding by any means. When you look at the rest of this season, how do they get themselves into the NCAA tournament? I mean, what needs to change? Because it feels like this team isn't the same team as old, where they're high scoring and making plays from behind the arc. Wasn't the case today, shooting just 25% from 3.
No, I think they really just need to return to that identity. You mentioned earlier that they were still kind of searching for their identity. In this game, it seemed like they struggled to find it as well, struggling to find a consistent basis of scoring. But I think if they continue to find that and they continue to run with that through full games, today we saw them getting a lot of looks in the paint that fell for them in the first half, and then in the second half, they either just strayed away from it for a little bit or it just could not fall for them. But if they are able to establish a consistent point of emphasis that they can return to in their following games, especially against Iowa, against these tougher opponents, I think that you can really start seeing them hold their own and maybe be able to pull out some wins down the stretch that could put them in pole positioning to make a good run in the tournament.
Yeah, and one good part about being in the Big Ten and in such a difficult conference like the Big Ten is that there's many opportunities out there to pick up big wins.
100%.
And so while it certainly will be difficult in terms of the competition that they'll have to play, I cannot tell you how big picking up one of those wins would be, like winning on the road at Iowa City or beating Michigan State back here at home. So the opportunities are certainly there and ahead for this Michigan team. Zach, one last thought from you for this game, one big takeaway, I guess, for either side. Could be Nebraska or Michigan.
I think the big takeaway for the Wolverines is that just when you have, I've mentioned this several times already, when you find a consistent groove in one area of the game, you have to stick with that through the entire game. You can't just try to change it up a little bit, or you don't try to change it up a little bit unless you have a comfortable lead and you want to see if you can start pouring it on a little bit. But in tight games like this, especially in games that matter so much and have such big implications, you really just need to find a consistent identity and point of emphasis to stick with that'll carry you throughout the entire game.
Certainly. And so once again, Michigan will fall to 6-6 in the Big Ten. Nebraska will jump past them in the Big Ten standings as Wolverines fall to 6-6 in Big Ten and 15-9 overall. The Cornhuskers, on the other hand, will improve to 7-5 in the conference, as well as 15-8 overall. And so for Nebraska, this certainly helps their NCAA tournament hopes. They should, for the meantime, maybe get off of the bubble a little bit here. But great win for Amy Williams' squad, and for KBA, they'll be left searching for answers. They'll get a chance to rebound against Rutgers before they play the big bad Iowa Hawkeyes next week. And so before we sign off here, I want to give a quick shout out, of course, with Valentine's Day being in 8 days. It's always important to share some love to your loved ones and those who care for you. So I wanted to ask my girlfriend out there, who I know is listening, Paulina Reisky, will you be my Valentine? And the boys are all laughing at me up here. But anyways, that will do it for the WCBN broadcast. We want to thank you all for supporting the student radio. As always, we really appreciate all of your support, and we look forward to you to continue listening to all of our broadcasts in the future. For Neal Sinha, Zack Schteingart, Matthew Levy, as well as Peter Nasr, we want to say thank you all and have a good night.